New York City. What do you think of when someone says that? Do you think of the skyline, the bustling streets, the taxis, the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty? Whatever comes to mind, it probably isn't the graffiti that's painted almost everywhere you turn. Group 1, Graffiti in New York City.
It's my job. I'm kind of like the manager, like the office manager or the store manager. I'm in charge of the unit.
Captain Elwood Selover, head of the City-Wide Vandals Task Force, took the time to speak with us about this growing issue.
Well, it's not the crime of the century. Obviously, it doesn't physically hurt people, such as a robbery or an assault. However, the taxpayers and the homeowners of the city don't like to come out of their house in the morning and find their PVC fence spray painted, or the wall across the street, the restaurant down the corner, the rooftops. It makes an area look worse than it is. It gives that impression that the area is out of control. There's a theory that's been used for years in policing. It's called the broken windows theory. In other words, if the area has broken windows and graffiti, things like that, it gives the impression that the area, there's lawlessness going on. So it's very important to combat graffiti, to clean up areas where it's perpetrated, and it gives the people who live in the area and work in the area a better feeling of safety and security.
Every day presents new challenges for Captain Selover and his task force.
Average day at work. Get to work, there's usually 5 or 6 phone calls, usually this phone and my cell phone's ringing at the same time. I sign in, there's usually 3 problems already. It's very busy as soon as you hit the ground. There's somewhere, usually there's a train that's already been painted, or overnight guys have been arrested. Maybe some of my guys were injured chasing someone down the tracks. It's different every day, and you really don't have time to kind of settle in. It usually starts right away.
Many people have the misconception that graffiti is an easy thing to clean up. However, there is much more to the process than painting over it.
They have to go to the owner, ask the owner to sign a waiver. And the waiver basically says that you give the city permission to clean it up, to paint it or power wash or whatever, free of charge. But if they sign the waivers go to the mayor's office. There's a graffiti cleanup unit, basically a quality life unit that works for Mayor Bloomberg, and they send trucks. They have about 5 or 6 trucks citywide loaded with paint. They'll go out and they'll actually spray paint the overpasses and the buildings. Each precinct, to get like a quicker response, they'll sometimes use community groups, people who've been arrested and assigned to community service. Youths like yourself who want to be community oriented will come on a Saturday, help out, and they'll do some painting. So it can be very quick, but even if it's in the millions to clean up, well, that's millions of dollars that could have went to a park, new park for kids. It could have went to tax reduction for the people who live in the city. It could have went to a whole lot of other things. Instead it went to paint, just to clean up what criminals did without permission on people's walls. So it's a financial drain. Obviously, having a unit to go out and apprehend these people, well, if people didn't do this, and obviously in society I don't think it's ever going to totally go away, but if you didn't have a unit how to do it, well, now we could be deployed somewhere else to do something else. It takes away from other enforcement, it takes away taxpayers' money, and it doesn't add anything positive that I see.
Though not as big a problem, gang graffiti is still present in the city of New York.
Like, for example, a crown painted is for the Latin kings. It gets very involved with the training. They wear certain clothes to identify themselves, a whole big thing. But yes, the Crips are big with the C's. The Bloods won't write C's. If they have to write a word that has a C in it, they'll X it out because they refuse to write the word C because it means Crip. You're not going to really see as much out on the street. It's more related to a part of a neighborhood where one gang is trying to stake claim over the other. So if I had to give it a rough percentage, and it's very rough because obviously I don't, but if you would probably say like a 95 to 5%. A certain neighborhood where two gangs are looking for the territory, you throw it on the walls. But really, and again, they're very rough percentages, but really 95% of it is the tag notoriety type graffiti that we saw.
Although graffiti doesn't physically hurt people, artists receive typical punishments when convicted.
Well, they're arrested like any other criminal, because that's what they are. They're criminals. Doesn't matter the artistic value of what they did. They're criminals. They're arrested. They're fingerprinted. They're photographed. They're not released. They have to see a judge for arraignment, just like any other criminal. After that, it's no longer a police department issue. It becomes a court issue and a correction issue. Depending on the severity, the amount, how many times you've been arrested, there's people who get a fine or get sentenced to community service. And we've put away people, as I told you, coming down in the van. We have people who are still in on bail. They haven't made bail. They're in Rikers Island, which is the major jail in New York City. There was somebody who did a lot of damage. His tag was Kiko. It was in all the papers, K-I-K-O. He did 6 months in jail and had to pay back $25,000 in damage, just to give you a gambit. And then there's somebody else. They did it once. They got caught. They paid a $100 fine or whatever they had to pay to have it painted over, and they were done. So it all depends.
These artistic criminals are caught and put behind bars due to everyday people, the people who report the vandalism covering their streets. To continue to stop this crime, citizens are encouraged to report all acts of graffiti that they see.
Certain precincts have been seeing more complaints recently, and certain ones have been seeing less. So in certain areas, the mission's working. In other areas, we don't know if because the complaints going up, does that mean there's more graffiti? Or does that mean that people are now so aware of it that they're reporting it? Because we've been asking them to report it. There are many people that consider it art. If you are going to do it, and it's not your property, and you do not have permission to do it, it's a crime. You can express yourself any way you want in this country, but you can't break the law in doing it. So if it's on a canvas, if it's on a wall that somebody allowed them to paint it, that's up to them. But if they're doing it without the permission of the owner, it's a crime. And depending on who you talk to, they believe what I believe, or they believe in the artistic version.